Hello, this is part 3 of a series of videos that explain how the COVID-19 vaccines work. In the first video, I talked about how viruses attack your body and how your body responds to them. In the second video, I explained how the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines work, and in this video, I will talk about how the Johnson.Johnson vaccine works. Like I mentioned in the last video, there are currently 3 vaccines that are available in the United States. The Moderna and Pfizer vaccines work the same way by using the RNA approach. The Johnson.Johnson vaccine works in a different way called a viral vector approach. This video will focus on how the Johnson.Johnson vaccine works to help your body fight the COVID-19 virus. The first step in creating this vaccine starts in a similar way as the other vaccines. Scientists study the DNA inside the coronavirus and make a copy of it. The next step is where the Johnson.Johnson vaccine is a little different from the Pfizer-Moderna vaccine. In this step, scientists put the coronavirus DNA inside of an adenovirus. An adenovirus is like a little shell, which is a harmless virus vessel that carries and protects the coronavirus DNA. Just like in the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine, the DNA inside of this adenovirus contains the genetic material that's the same instructions for how to make the spike protein of the coronavirus. This adenovirus with the coronavirus DNA is what goes into the Johnson.Johnson vaccine shots. In the next step, you get the vaccine injected into your arm, and the adenovirus then goes into our cells. The adenovirus then breaks down into its separate parts, and the DNA comes out. In the next step, our cells make RNA, which is, if you watch the last video on how the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines work, you know that the mRNA are the directions for how to make spikes that look like the coronavirus spikes. Basically, the gene for the coronavirus spike protein can be read by our cells, which then copy it into mRNA. The rest of the steps are about the same as with the Moderna and Pfizer vaccine. Our cells will learn how to make the spikes by reading the mRNA, and then these spikes will get released into your body from that cell. Again, your cells are not turning into the virus. The cells in your body are just making the same spikes that look like the coronavirus spikes, and this process repeats over and over again. In the next step, your body will use the spikes to make antibodies. You may remember from the last video that your body can't tell the difference between the actual coronavirus and the spikes made by your cells from the vaccine. Your body senses that there's something new that it hasn't seen before, and your immune system responds by raising the alarm and producing these antibodies. The antibodies are specially designed to fit these spikes just like a lock and key. They are designed to find the spikes and destroy the virus. Once you have these antibodies, you will be ready to fight the coronavirus if it ever enters your body. Now, just like with the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines, it can be completely normal to experience some side effects from the vaccine. Some people will experience some side effects like fever, chills, headaches, sleepiness, or nausea. Our bodies can't tell the difference between the spike protein and the coronavirus, so when your cells start making the spikes, your immune system thinks it's under attack, and these are symptoms that are your body's way of fighting back. It does not mean you have the coronavirus. It's perfectly normal, and it's proof that your immune system is working in response to the vaccine. To recap, there are 3 vaccines that have been approved in the United States: Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson.Johnson. The main difference between these vaccines is the delivery system, but the results are the same. The Pfizer and Moderna vaccines contain mRNA, or the instructions for making the spike protein gene. The Johnson.m.p4 vaccine uses the coronavirus DNA inside an adenovirus. Another major difference between the two types of vaccines is that Pfizer and Moderna vaccines are administered in 2 doses, given about 3 to 4 weeks apart. On the other hand, the Johnson.m.p4 vaccine is delivered in only 1 single dose. Both types of vaccines train your body to remember the virus spikes so it's prepared to destroy the coronavirus if you ever get exposed. Both types of vaccines may cause similar side effects in some people. Both vaccine types are highly effective in protecting against COVID-19 related hospitalization and death. Because these 3 vaccines are all safe and effective, it doesn't really matter which one you get. Scientists are recommending that if you are eligible, you should get whichever vaccine you have access to.